and he's also,
Oh, I'm sorry, Senator. You were saying something nice about me. I want to make sure that I got to hear it again.
Okay. So I just want to say Kevin is one great guy. He's a great person. You know that. He's a caring person. He's a smart person. He's somebody who has a lot of energy and directness and get things done. He's like me. I'm from Brooklyn. We talk straight to each other. No BS. And he's a great labor guy. We share that in common too. My grandpa was one of the founders of the Paper Workers Union. My grandpa worked up in the paper mills up in Utica, New York. And I've been a labor guy ever since. And so when Kevin came to me, and by the way, he's a Republican, I'm a Democrat, as they say in Brooklyn, WTF, who cares? We work together with each other all the way for the good of the working people. And it's good to see him as the head of the Suffolk County, good to see a labor guy as head of the Suffolk County legislature. Let me say this. So people came to me over the last 10 years in 707, in Teamsters, and in many other unions, sheet metal workers, bakers, painters, you name it. And here's what they said over and over again, working folks. I paid every 2 weeks into my pension. And I thought when I retired, no one thought I'd be rich, but I could have a decent life. I could have a life of dignity after I busted my chops driving a truck or whatever all of you do, drive an ambulance, all the, and everywhere else. And through no fault of your own, all this money seemed to go away. It was poorly invested. It got, but what did the average working stiff have to do with that? Nothing. So why should they be penalized? But it took a long time. It took a long time. I made it my mission to do this. I made it my mission. And it wasn't just you guys. Do you know in New York State, you know how many people are going to benefit from this? 600,000 New Yorkers would have lost up to 98% of their pensions. I think, Kevin, you correct me. You guys would have lost more than half of your pension, right? In 707?
We lost 3/4 of their pensions.
3/4 of the pension. And we couldn't have that. And when I tried to pass legislation, there was some, you know, representing the big business interests who said, you want to make your pension plan whole? Cut their pensions. And I said, no way, no way. We weren't going to do that, as we say in Brooklyn again, in FW, no way. And so we fought and we fought and we fought. And it's a lot of money because your pensions are decent pensions. Over the years, the Teamsters have created a good pension plan for the people who work as Teamsters, 707 and many other locals throughout. So what we did in the ARP bill, I'm the majority leader now. So I have some clout. You know what I said? I said, we are not passing an ARP unless it has the pension bill in it. And not the pension bill that some others had proposed, but the pension bill that makes you 100% whole, not 95%, 97%, 100% whole. And we passed it. And so we had a Zoom, I think, 10 months ago. Some of you were on. We didn't have as many as we have on today, where I said the bill had passed, and now we got to make sure the dollars go back into your pensions and into your pockets. And so today what we're announcing, now listen to this, for 707 alone, we have $725 million going back into your pension fund. That's enough to make everybody whole, completely whole. That's a lot of money. But guess what? You put it in over the years. Many of you, I can see by your gray hair, are retirees. And you put the money in through the many, 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 many years. And you deserve to have it back. I don't care what it costs. Wasn't your fault. And one of the jobs of the government is to protect working people when they're wronged through no fault of their own. So the legislation says that you and your families, you did everything right. You worked your butts off. You worked so hard. You did the job. You served America. Without your services, people would have lived much worse lives. And we did it. We got it done. We tried for years, as you know, to get the Butch-Lewis Act through. And Senator McConnell wouldn't let that go through. He's not a labor guy. He's an anti-labor guy. And he was for the businesses. And so when we got to do the American Rescue Plan, which we could do with only 51 votes because it was part of this thing called reconciliation, we didn't need McConnell. We just needed every Democrat, and every Democrat voted for it. And some of the Republicans would have voted for that part of the bill too, in all fairness. Kevin McCaffrey, he was a senator. He would have voted for it for sure. So bottom line is, this is getting done. I was on your side. I will stay on your side. I believe in the working people. And I believe in unions. The union created the middle class. You know, before we had unions, there was no middle class. There were a few rich people and a lot of poor people. And in the 30s and 40s and 50s, the union movement said, hey, again, no one's going to get rich being a working person, driving a truck, driving an ambulance, and doing all the other things you guys do. But at least you can live a life of dignity, and you can provide a life of dignity to your kids. And that's what's happened. So I'm glad for it. I'm glad this worked out well. I promised you I would bust my chops for it and get it done. And here we are, celebrating our victory. We don't have to have any more Zooms on this issue because the money's going right into your pensions right now. So there's nothing more that less to be done. But always, if I can be with you and help you in any way, call me. And again, another salute to Kevin McCaffrey. He was the best partner I ever could have had in working this. And he understood that we had to keep fighting till we got the best bill possible. Don't sell out anybody. So that's where we're at. Congratulations to all of you. And I hope everybody has a healthy, stay safe, stay healthy, a good 2022. You're giving me applause, but let me give Kevin and you guys a round of applause for everything you have done. We'll applaud each other.
Thank you, Senator. And I have them all muted because we wouldn't be able to hear if we didn't. But once again, I just want to thank you. And there's one other Republican that would have voted for it, and that was Pete King, the former congressman. In fact,
Yes.
he was the lone Republican that voted for the Butch-Lewis Act when it came up.
And I want to say this. Can I say something, Kevin? Pete
Sure.
King did a great job.
Yep.
He's a great guy, and he deserves a lot of the credit as well. For those of you who live on Long Island, you know that he was a very good congressman.
Good. And well, thank you, Senator, for getting us across the finish line. You promised me you would, and you did, and you delivered. I remember we met in 1998 at a joint council meeting in the Mark Ballroom, and you were running for Senate at that time, I think, right? Was that?
I was, yes.
And I mean, you came and you were congressman, and you said, and I remember you said, I am with you. I'll always be with you, and you have fulfilled that promise. It took us quite a few years for us to cement that, but you were true to your word.
Well,
and we can't thank you enough.
Kevin,
You know?
I'm a union guy through and through.
Yes, yeah, you approved that, and we appreciate it. So you always have a friend at Local 707. You always have a friend in Suffolk County. You know that as well. And so thank you for everything. And
Thanks,
one more round of
everybody.
applause for our Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, who got this across the finish line for us. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thanks, everybody, and go Bills. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, so that was good. As I said, that's a true story about what the senator did for us, getting us to where we are. So now I just want to kind of review some of the things that we spoke about and try and answer some of the questions. I don't know if I'll be able to answer all of them, but one thing I want to urge everybody to do is to sign up for our email updates. That's if you go to our website, which is Road Carriers with an S, 707.com. So go to www.roadcarriers707.com, and I'll put that on the chat. And you just sign up right on there, sign up for pension legislative updates. And anytime something happens, or are there any questions, the email will come from me. So if you have any follow-up questions, I generally answer every one of them, but I've just been inundated recently with all the ones we got. I will catch up to all of them. So if you have a personalized question, you just hit reply to my email that I sent you, and I will reply back to you via email. It's just a lot easier. I can do it any time of day and night, and I will people know that because they can see when they get their emails from me. But that's the best way of communicating with us if you have an individualized question. But I'm going to try and answer as much as I can today, and I'm going to go through a bunch of things, and then if there's any follow-up questions, I will try to and I don't know how I'm going to manage this. There's 442 people right now on the Zoom call. I know a few people already have their hands raised. I see my good friend Pete Pagaki out there. Hey Pete, how you doing? We worked together at Roadway. I was a young man when I started there in 1978, and I want to say Pete was one of the old guys, but he was one of the guys that kind of showed me the ropes. So, but I see so many familiar faces out there. Jimmy Garbold, yeah, that's right. So anyway, so let me just go through this and try and answer as many questions as I can in this. And anything I don't get to, as I said, I'm going to send out an email update to everybody please feel free to send me any individualized questions that you have or any clarifications you need. And it might take me a day or so, or a few days, but I will get back to you with the answer on email. Phone calls are just tough to get through. It's just so much easier. And then you have something writing from me. You're not saying, well, what did he say? You have something in writing there. So I just want to, before I get into this, I just want to thank everybody along the way that helped this. I know there's a lot of retirees out there, a lot of retirees groups that got together around the country and worked tirelessly to make this an issue. So when it came about and we had the ability to vote on this stuff, we had people that are on board. And even though, as the senator said, it was part of the American Rescue Plan, and there was a lot of things in there that a lot of people did want to support. And you heard people, even on the Republican side, that were throwing darts at the American Rescue Plan because of the cost, et cetera. You didn't hear many Republicans talk about the pension side of it because we had already spoken to them and they didn't want to make that an issue because they supported that. And when it was a standalone bill, we had over 25 Republicans come over and vote for portions of this bill last time it came across, including Lee Zeldin, who I worked very closely with to try and get this done, and other Republicans. So we made it a bipartisan issue, and it was easy for people to accept. So there was a lot of work. A lot of people did this, too numerous to list, but everybody that went out there, wrote letters, went to rallies, made phone calls to their congressmen, senators to make sure that this was an issue that was front and center. I want to say thank you for getting this done. And as I say, especially to our Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who really has done so much and worked together in a real bipartisan fashion to try and get this done. His help is immeasurable. So with that, I want to go over some of the issues. As the senator said, we expect to receive $725,610,067.76 on February 17th. That's the target date for the PBGC to send us those proceeds of the special financial assistance. What that breaks down to is $710,402,487 is the amount that we requested on a special financial assistance application. The difference is $24 million is interest on the amount we between when we first made our application and when it was finally approved and when we expect to get that money. We have to pay back $9 million in special financial assistance that we received along the way. It includes $121 million in makeup payments. And that is, the makeup payments is the retro payments, is the difference between what you received as a reduced benefit and what your unreduced benefit was. Reminder that the Social Security supplemental benefit that we had in place, which you may have been receiving prior to the insolvency or the resource level benefit reduction in 2016, was eliminated in our rehabilitation plan. So if you go back and say, well, I was receiving the Social Security supplement at that time, which was an adjustable benefit, and it doesn't come back, so your number may not be exactly what you were getting, but it would have been the number that you were getting minus the Social Security supplement. So this is what the restored benefit would be. And then if it's slight difference, that's probably something that you can look towards that may be the issue. And as I said before, this is an amount of $121 million that will be going back and making all the retirees whole for all the monies that was reduced, starting in 2016 with the first reduction, which was about a 40% reduction to get to the resource level of benefits, and then starting in February 1st, 2017, when we went down to when we were completely insolvent and received the PBGC benefit level. The amount for future benefits, which we receive to be able to fund our pension for the next 30 years, is $589,086,061. That money will be the money that we'll be putting into basically our funds to be able to fund benefits into the future. The plan was designed to have the funds go on for 30 years. That's representative of that money. There's a couple of issues have come up. So the part of the American Rescue Plan or this part of the bill, it says that we can only invest that money in fixed income and investment grade securities. And so the issue is great with that, because no one has to worry about money being lost in the stock market, et cetera, but it does limit the amount of returns that we can get on there. And I'm going to talk about that a little further, about how that has caused an issue and may not be enough money, or with those restrictions, be able to fund the pension plan for the next 30 years. We may be short a couple of years, but I'm going to talk about that under the PBGC interim guidance. But you will be receiving currently 2 documents from the fund. One will be a notice of reinstatement of benefits, which will detail the amount you were receiving and what your restored benefit will be. Also, if you're entitled to make-up payment, that means that you had your benefit reduced. The reinstatement of benefits will also detail the amount of the lump sum payment that you will receive. So you should be getting that. We're in the middle of doing all the calculations, because it is an individualized statement. So everybody's is different. So I ask you to, if you get something from us, make sure you open it up, read it, and make sure that you concur with the amount of money that it says that your benefit will be reinstated to, and also the amount of that makeup payment. And that is the amount of money that you would have received with an unreduced benefit, minus the amount of money that you did receive through the PBGC. Okay. You will be receiving that in a lump sum payment. So a lot of people ask about, well, this is a lump sum payment. Am I going to get hit with taxes? And for some people, it's a significant amount of money. It's well over $100,000 for the retirees. And you may not want to accept that all at one time. So also what we're going to be mailing you is a notice of your right to direct the fund to do a direct rollover of your makeup payment to an IRA or another qualified retirement plan. Okay, so you'll be getting that. And so if you don't have an IRA or another qualified retirement plan where you can direct this money in as a direct rollover from us, I would suggest that you do that right away. It's easy to do. You go right onto any one of the websites at T. Rowe Price or any other one that you choose, and it'll say open up an IRA. Okay, and you may want to fund that with just a few dollars, just so you have something in there and get that up and running. And this way you have an account. And when you get this letter from us, if you choose to have this money sent and you want to do a direct rollover, it would be best if you have this account in place, because we're going to send you a form and you need to put the exact account information of that IRA into that form and send it back to us. Okay, so this is stuff that has to happen fairly quickly. As we said before, they were told us that they would fund us in 60 to 90 days, and now they're telling us it looks like it's going to be 30 days. So we really, that's a good thing. So we all have to do a little scrambling to make sure we get this money to you as soon as possible. So if you want to do that direct rollover, which probably is a pretty good recommendation because you don't take a tax hit in just 1 year, I would recommend that you do that. You need to open up that IRA if you don't have one already, and watch out for in the mail for what we're going to send you, and fill out that form and get it back to us as soon as possible, because we have to manually put all that information into the system. And we have over probably 3,500 participants, retirees that are out there we need to do it for. So get that done as soon as possible. If you do not elect to do a direct rollover into an IRA, the fund will automatically deduct 20% for federal tax withholding, the federal tax, and those monies will be deducted from the amount and will go right into your regular direct deposit, or if you get a paper check, you'll receive it that way, but it will be minus the 20% federal deduction. That is the laws that the per the legislation, so automatically withhold that 20%. I spoke before about the interim guidance from the PBGC. So under the law, the PBGC was given the ability to be able to write guidance on the implementation of this rule. And some of the things that they have put in the interim guidance have been a little controversial and has sparked some remarks, including from Local 707 and many others, about whether or not it's fair or not. The first thing I want to talk about is the surviving spouse benefits. Right now, and as I'm saying right now, because they have not issued their final guidance, the PBGC is taking the position that the surviving spouse benefit is the one is the benefit if someone were to pass away. And let me give you an example of so we went insolvent in 2017, resource level benefits February 1st, 2016. And so say you were you're the participant or the member passed away in 2020. Okay. And if that was the case, and they had a surviving spouse pension, which means that half or 75% or 100% of that benefit would go to the surviving spouse, the PBGC is taking the position right now that the only monies that the surviving spouse is entitled to would be the surviving spouse portion going back to the first day of reduction. So it's our position, and what we've advocated for is that the surviving spouse should be entitled to that full benefit up until the time that the member passed away, and then the surviving spouse benefit would kick in. We've advocated for that. We've had written comments about that, as many others have, because that's the right thing to do. But we're waiting for that final guidance to come from them. They're well aware of what people see as the inequity and unfairness in that. And worst case scenario is if the member did not elect the surviving spouse option, and they took the full unreduced pension, and they passed away even recently, say in 2021 sometime. And the PBGC right now is taking a position that the surviving spouse who did not take the surviving spouse option is not entitled to any of those makeup payments. And there would be no retroactive activity back to the full pension rate, which I think is very, very, very unfair. Many people took the higher amount only because it was reduced. So, but that is not the final guidance. But as of right now, as we're sitting here, that is the way the PBGC is interpreting. So if you receive the reinstatement of benefits and it shows the lesser amount, that is why. Okay, and then I'm sure I'll get some phone calls on that, and we'll discuss that further. But I believe, like you, that it's unfair. We've raised the issue. Many other people have raised that issue. Senator Schumer has raised that issue, and we're very we're hopeful that the PBGC will change that. And they've no reason not to. Senator Schumer wrote this in a way that's a blank check. This is not coming out of the PBGC coffers. This is money that the Treasury has to supply to fund these benefits. There is no reason why they would want to really hurt the surviving spouses, and we've made that clear to them. So we're hoping that they will look at all these events and go back and say, okay, we need to change that the final guidance based on what we heard. The other big issue with the guidance is what we call a negative arbitrage situation. So our fund has no assets. The only assets we get are the money that the PBGC gives us at the beginning of each month to be able to supply benefits. To date, they have given us $86 million to pay benefits at the PBGC level. So as part of the guidance, they are saying that we can only invest that money in fixed income in investment grade bonds. And everyone says, that's great. We don't have to worry about anything else. We don't have to worry about the stock market, et cetera, except it limits the amount of money we can return. And right now the fixed income return is lower than 3%. We're going to get a little technical here, but we have, as I said before, we received $589 million or so for future benefit payments. The way that was calculated is that to calculate our liabilities for the plan, and they know each and every one of us, they know what our age is, they predict how long we are going to live, they know how many years of service that we have or are going to have, and based on that, they figure out the liabilities of the plan. And they come up with some sort of a benefit, a monthly benefit, and annually. They need to project how long that is. Now said, okay, how much money do we need to give them to make this last for the next 30 years? So you do what they call the present value calculation of the current liabilities. And they use what they call the third segment rate, which is a way for single, and I told you it's going to get technical, for single employer pension plans to calculate what their liabilities are, because the single employer plans, unlike the multi-employer plans that we have, need to be 100% funded every year. So they have to make adjustments each year to their pension plans, make additional contributions to make sure their plans are funded, and that's how they figure it out. But someone said, we're not only going to use the third segment rate to calculate our liabilities, it's going to be the third segment rate, which is a measure of fixed income returns over a certain amount of years. They can add 200 basis points, and 100 basis points is 1%, 200 basis points is 2%. So they calculated our liabilities at a 5% or so rate, which means the higher the rate that they calculate the liabilities at, the lower the amount of money that we're going to get. So they're telling us that they're going to use 5% to calculate the liabilities, but only allow us to invest it at 3%. So we have a gap there of this 2%. And to the best of our calculations, that's going to leave us about 7 or 8 years short of 2051. So we have raised that issue with them. I have been a speaker at various conferences about pension plan reform, and we've raised that issue there, as so many other people have done before. They've heard us loud and clear about what need, and they understand the inequities. Where it really affects is plans like us that have no assets. So if you look at another plan that still has assets, that's still critical and declining, but is not insolvent at this point, they still may have a certain amount of assets that they already have in their pension fund. They are unrestricted in how they can invest those assets. So they could say they right now may have a blended rate of 50% fixed income, 50% in equities in the stock market to get a balanced rate that may bring them a 6% return, but a nice conservative mix there. They can take all the money that they have and put all of that into the stock market, and the restricted money, which is the money they receive in the special financial assistance, which in our case is everything, they can balance that out and still get that 5 or 6% return and meet their investment goals based on that third segment rate, because they're going to be getting more than 5%, because they're going to take all of their money and put 100% of that into equities and use the 100% in fixed income, the SFA, the special financial assistance. So they're in an okay place. Central States, which will be able to apply very shortly, that's what their plan is, and so they're unaffected. But for those plans like ours that are insolvent or very close to becoming insolvent, have that issue. So we're hoping that these two issues, which is the surviving spouse and this negative arbitrage, as we call it, will be addressed by the PBGC in their final guidance. And I feel very comfortable about the negative arbitrage, because they are tasked with supplying enough money and making these regulations in a manner which they will last our benefits will last for 30 years. And it just cannot be done if two things don't happen. If we don't receive more money, or we're allowed to invest in a prudent but a conservative mix of equities and fixed income, which could return us that 5.5–6% return, which we think is stable over the long term. So we're hoping that those changes will come forward. So people have asked me about what would the plan look like going forward in terms of future accruals. Well, we cannot make retroactive benefit payments. That was clear in the law. You can't use this money to increase benefits to any group. You can't go backwards. But going forward, because we no longer have the liabilities, we have any new contributions coming in above what we already received can be counted in a different way than it's measured now. So we can change the future accruals based on additional contributions coming into the fund. One of the things we need to look at, and I've already addressed with YRC, is contributions coming in from YRC and increased contributions. The fund took no increased pension contributions because we're going off the cliff. And we feel and I've already spoken to the incoming general president. He shares my concerns about that and wants to get that fixed. I've spoken to YRC directly, who said that, yes, we will work on getting increased contributions. They need to work out the logistics of it. We weren't even allowed to discuss this publicly, because if we talked about an agreement that occurred now about future contribution increases, that money would be counted as an asset to the fund and reduce the amount of money we get in special financial assistance from the PBGC. So when the smoke clears, when we get the money, we can sit down in earnest with YRC, and we can treat those monies we receive from YRC differently in terms of these contributions coming in. Additional contributions come in can be counted at a higher rate than they could be from contributions from other companies, which are already being restored to the higher level. Everybody knew at YRC what happened when they stopped contributing for 2 years. They were 65% of our contribution base. And that is what really decimated this fund. And then when they did come back after 2 years, they were only contributing $1.82 as opposed to $7 and something an hour. They reduced their pension contributions by 75%. And we went from we were paying out $48 million in benefits and taking in $7 million in contributions with no way to even reduce benefits anyway, including the 13th check. And it was just, all we could do is manage the decline. But we haven't gotten an increase from them since 2008. That was the last time we received the contribution from YRC increase. We're going to work very hard to get an increase in those contributions and have those increased contributions be meaningful to our YRC members to get their accrual rates up to something that everyone can appreciate. So we're going to work hard on the YRC contributions. We cannot have detailed conversations with them until we are free of the reins of the PBGC and we receive that special financial assistance, and the lawyers give me the go-ahead to be able to start those discussions in earnest, because we don't want to come back and saying that we had a deal in place, and we have to wait before we can really sit down with them. A lot of people went back to work because not because they wanted to, not because they enjoyed the company of all the guys in the driver's room or out on the dock, because they had to. Some people may want to decide that they want to stay working. The fund has not decided yet, because we reduced all the prohibitive employment. In the past, you could only work 2 days a week, and we're going to take a look at whether or not we're going to make significant changes to that. We have to, because the benefits are reduced, we had to allow people to work more than they were before in covered employment. But right now we have a driver shortage. We need people, and so we got to take a look at whether or not we don't want to pull the rug out from underneath everybody. And I don't think they have issues. Right now we need as many drivers as we can get. So it's going to be thoughtful, and we're going to, work on this to see how it's going to roll out. But no immediate decisions are going to be made, and so don't worry about having to quit your job when the check comes in, unless you want to. And that'll be completely up to you. I know we got a lot of questions about the 13 check. Right now, the benefit is for all those retroactive payments that you will receive will reflect the 13 check. All the benefits going in the future right now, as we see right now, will include a 13 check. In terms of future accruals, we're going to take a look at whether or not we want to continue to provide that. But right now, all those back monies that you would do will include your monthly benefit and the 13 check. That's how the special financial assistance was calculated. All the money you've earned to date, if you're still inactive, those will include a 13 check. And we want to decide going forward if it's prudent for us to continue to do that. But we're going to take a much harder look at how we're going to have to make this money last for all these years. And be assured, I've learned a lot in the last 25 years about how all this stuff works, and we're going to make sure that we're going to follow some models of some very successful pension plans out there that have modeled their accruals in a manner in which it gives them the ability to maintain their assets for as long as we need them to do that. So we've got a lot going on in terms of what the fund has to do and what needs to get done to make sure that the benefits are going forward into the future. So let me just look at, I know a couple people have put some chats on here. Oh, I got 71 of them. Let me take a quick look at the chat, see if I can answer some of these questions. Thomas Crockett, if we divide the new, I lost you, Thomas. Hold on, let me try and pull up the chats. Okay. If we divide the new old pension by 13, it will be the same and not cost us any more. Yeah, that doesn't change anything. It's still the same amount of money. That's right. Let me go back from the beginning. So if we can, let's see what questions people have. My husband is deceased as of June 2021. He was not of retirement age. How does a recent development affect his pension? The benefit is unresponsive. Who can I reach out to? The benefit office, and I have not found them to be unresponsive. Most people have not. But he was not of retirement age, and he can't retire. You cannot collect his benefit under most cases until the time that he would have been able to be of age, and at that point you can file for his pension, and at that time elect the surviving spouse pension. So that should take care of that. Also going to be added to the distribution list for updates and notifications. I'm going to type a message to Fred, or no, I'm going to send it to everybody. It's Road Carriers 70 www.roadcarriers707.com. Just go right on that website, and you should be able to you'll be added to the email updates. We have over 1,800 people on there now. Let me try and make him a co-host too. No, let's see him. See what it work. Okay, that we're going to thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. If you have any questions, put this on the chat right now. It's in the house. Okay, my life will be on YouTube. Senator Schumer, as I'm going through it, Senator Schumer is one of the hardest working elected officials I've ever met. He has been to both of my children's high school graduations and both of their college graduations at Farmingdale University. And I think everyone has similar stories about seeing Senator Schumer at Little League opening days. So I'm just looking for specific questions on here. These all good things. Yeah. Okay, you can open an RA even if you are already retired, regardless of age. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I just had to open one for my mother, who is 96 years old. So yes, regardless of age, and she only retired 3 years ago, believe it or not. Worked for the church, you know, she enjoyed it. Well, Tom, I'm getting there. As I said, if you have any more, I see more messages coming up. I just don't want to miss any here. Or if I pass over a question, let me know. Okay, my dad passed 2018 trying to get his lost pension. My mom, no survivor benefits, just what they lost. Oh, yeah. So as of right now, if he didn't take the survivor pension, then they would not be qualified to receive any retroactive benefits. Will we get 13 checks eventually, or only 12? No, if you retire, you're going to continue to get 13 check, and we expect that to continue. Well, I can't receive what he paid in. Actually, there was no, this is completely funded. More, I think we're getting near the end, right? Will the retro pay include interest? I knew somebody was going to ask me that. I knew that, you know, that I knew that. I just, no, it won't. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know, we never expected to get retroactive payments, and no, there'll be no.
If you lump sum in full, we'll be taxing you first, yes.
Okay, if you take lump sum in full, will be taxed by your personal tax rate when filing taxes. I would say that you should speak to your tax professional. I do not want to answer that. I do know that we will be taking 20. I won't be. It will be 20% will be taken out and will go right over to the federal government. Goes right to them. Since I took the full amount pension because it was reduced so much, can I change election now? No, you cannot change your election once you've done it. So. I see my good friend Bob King, the President Retirees Club, wants to talk, and I'll get to him in a minute. Can you convert check to immediate annuity? I would suggest you speak to your tax professional on that. Are we going to receive the bridge payment? No, the bridge payment, as I said, which was a Social Security supplement, was eliminated prior to us going insolvency. It was an adjustable benefit, so you will not get that. When do you expect checks to start going out? As soon as they fund the account, we will be sending it out. The money will not be sitting in our bank account. As soon as we get the information back from you on how you want it dispersed, we'll be releasing those funds to you. And they're telling us February 17th. Is there a provision for cost of living increases? No, there never has been. Does the back pay start from 2016 or 2017? So on February 1st, 2016, we went to the resource level of benefits. In a year that you're going to become insolvent and you do not have enough funds to pay a full years of benefits. So say our benefits were $48 million. That's what we were paying out. And the beginning of our plan year, which was February 1st, we only had $30 million in there. We were told to reduce the monthly benefit, give everybody 13 checks, because it was because the only choice we had. So we had to divide the 13, and don't hold me to it, by 30 instead of $48 million, and send that out. So there was a reduction in 2016, and so yes, all that money was reduced from 2016 when the first reduction happened. You will receive that. Okay. The retiree had pension reductions during insolvency and has since passed away. Does their lump sum payment go to their estate since it's legally their money? Well, under no circumstances would it have gone to an estate anyway. It would go only to a surviving spouse in the event that they had elected the surviving spouse pension. When will the actual money be sent to us, and will be direct deposit? If you currently have direct deposit with us on file, that will go into that same bank account that your monthly benefit goes into now. You don't have to do anything. Can we take part of the lump sum and put it in the regular account and the balance to the IRA? Some of us need some of the lump sum. My advice to you, but once again, speak to your tax professional. You need to direct it all into one place. I would do the direct rollover and simply withdraw it from the IRA as needed. You know, you can take it all out. You can put it into an IRA and then take it all out the next day. So it's up to you how much money you want to withdraw from your IRA. There are some required minimum distributions. You will have to take out a certain amount of money based on your age. If you're over 72 now, they changed it, was 70 and a half. If you're over age 72, you're required to make required minimum distributions, RMDs, and once again, speak to your tax professional. But I would, if you think about doing that, we can't split it up. You got to put it all in one or the other, and you can simply take it out of the IRA if needed. When can we expect our monthly amount to increase? I'm probably looking at March 1, or because we won't have the money till February 17th. We'll try and get the lump sums out right away. And but it will be increased. Your lump sum will, if we pick a date, it will be sent to you in that lump sum. The difference for the February payment was done. They'll be short. Can we place only half and lump sum? I answered that question. It will have to go in one, but you can simply take it out of the IRA. And hi, Maggie Campbell. Everything's well with you as well. Are the pension credits the same amount for all, or are they different members due to where they had worked? Well, the YRC ones are different because the contribution level was different than they were at, say, ABF. Did the 115 credit stop in 2004? That's pretty close to when it stopped, yes. I retired in 2005. It got cut twice since. Do I get it? My 2005. Your benefit should be reinstated to the level that it was when you retired. When do you expect the final guidance to be released? The answer to this question: my dad died last year from COVID. I'm so sorry to hear that. From this date, his benefits were reduced in 2016. As to the day he died, is my mom eligible surviving spouse? Eligible to receive his restored pension benefits to make him whole? Well, that's we're expecting. We have to wait on that final guidance. But as of right now, unless they change it by the time we receive the special financial assistance, which would have to be adjusted, they're taking a position that it would have to be based on the on what her benefit would have been as a surviving spouse, and going back to the first reduction in 2016. Is the disability pension being reinstated? At this time, it is not something that will, we're going to have to take a look at to see if that fits into the funding of the plan. Back pay include full contribution benefits. ABF Carolina employee contributed. Well, they never contributed anything. It was, they came only from the employer, but your benefits are restored to the level that they were prior. Will we have a choice on taking taxes out? Right now, we do not have any taxes taken. You should contact the fund saying that you want to change your 516-560-8500, and I'll put this information in the chat as well. We'll have a choice on to change your taxes. A lot of people went down to zero. You should change that if your benefit's going to be increased, but speak to your tax professional. Are the pension credits the same amount for all members? Are the different amounts where they work? Address that. Will our monthly payments start before we receive the lump sum payment? I think we're going to try and get the lump sum payment out as soon as we get the special financial assistance. And then the next month we get the money would be March 1st. We want to get it as soon as possible. And back zero and Sullivan is back on the fun side. Well, we have a lot, going on with this. They don't calculate increased contributions. We're going to look for increased contributions from the employers to make sure that the fund stays insolvent well beyond the 22 or 23 years we have now, based on what that interim guidance is. But 30 years, we expect to be able to find out a formula, as I said before, that will keep this fund solvent for many, many years to come. And that will be based on increased contributions from employers. What happens to the pension payments prior to 2016? Well, they weren't reduced prior to 2016, so they stay the way they were. Will the reinstatement of benefit letters be sent via email or mail, or will go out regular mail? Will you restore the death benefit for surviving spouses? That death benefit was reduced, was eliminated, I think, 10 or 13 years ago. And unless we have the funding for it, we will not be reinstating it. When do you feel you will hear from the PBGC? I just don't know. I asked them when I spoke with them, and they were non-committal, but they understood everybody's concerns and the sense of urgency. Fighting for us. Can you roll over a lump sum into a 401k? I am not sure. I know it on IRA, but I would speak to your tax professional. So sometimes if you're ready to retire, do you know the amount of money after 30 years of credit? So one of the things that we're going to institute, we have this all ready to go, is a pension benefit calculator. So very shortly after all the benefits are reinstated and we have the correct amounts in there, we are going to, you're going to be able to just go on, log in to our website and see what your benefit would be now or what a projected benefit would be into the future. So it's going to be a really handy tool for people to use, but we want to wait until the benefits are restored and you'll be able to see for yourself. And we'll be communicating that to everybody as well. Pension cuts were in advance in 2017. They're not going back. No, we're going to be going back to 2016, and the 13 check will be reinstated. And you'll get it, the money including the 13 check. Sucks. Not sure what Eddie Moore is saying to everyone there. Okay.
Switch that to everyone. Drop down.
I'm sorry.
Where it says you can switch this to everyone and then you can type in here. You got a message.
Type message to.
The drop down.
I got you.
Yeah.
Everyone in the meeting. Okay.
And then you
So
can-
I'm going to put in. So this is where I want everyone to go to sign up for email updates. Oh, no, that's not right. Thanks for correcting me.
Oh, I wasn't looking at what's on. I think
Reaching over to do this.
I would have came over.
All right. That's right.
Yeah, and put the phone number for the next one.
Sign up for email. As I'm doing this, if anyone has any questions, just write it in the chat there. That seems to be working because it kind of keeps the noise down. I sent that. Did I send that?
Yes,
Yeah,
you did.
okay.
Yeah.
And fund office. It's 516 560 8500, and that is 30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And a live person answers that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll say local 707. Okay. All right. I want to find my friend Bob King who wanted, does anyone else have any more questions that they want to put in that chat? We'll get started pension in 2018. Will my monthly benefit be increased? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay, let me get out of the chat for a minute. I want to find Bob King. We've been waiting patiently.
There he is.
Where is he? There he is. Okay, ask to unmute. I got him. Okay, Bob, unmute yourself.
There you go.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
Hi, Kevin. I just, I want to say, you said it earlier, but I want to say it too. I want to thank everybody who over the years participated, who made the phone calls, who went to Congress and walked the halls, who went to the rallies and wrote all those letters, because as we all, as union brothers and sisters, that's the only way we get anything done. But I want everybody to know that without you and your dedication, your hard work, and your political connections to the highest level in Washington, D.C., we would not be where we are right now. So, Kevin, thank you very much. God bless you. That's my story.
Thank you, Bob. I had to. I just want to thank you for everything that you've done. You've been my partner all the way along here when we've been going through this. So it's been a long journey, and we've had our ups and downs. And you know, we've been disappointed many times in what's happening, but we got there, you know, and then, you know, thank you for everything you did to get us across the finish line and rallying all the when I just put out word, hey, Bob, we need some letters sent out, and you always made sure that they got out, and we did our thing, and it's just been a long journey, and I'm glad to have had you and all the others by our side, and I'm glad it worked out.
I know you're not done yet, but hang in there. Thank you.
We still have a lot of work to do, and some people have asked if I'm leaving now that this is done. I said, no, you stuck with me for a little while. I'm going to do this as long as I can. I still enjoy it. Still some unfinished business we need to do. As the senator alluded to, I became the presiding officer of the Suffolk County Legislature on January 1st, and I've been multitasking for a long time. I've served as the fund administrator, the president of the union, and a county legislator for 8 years. So I always had a lot of balls up in the air, and I found the ability to do it. I still enjoy what I'm doing. I still enjoy keeping busy. So I'm going to continue to do that for as long as I can. And we're just reelected to another term. So for as long as they have me, we're gonna be around until we make sure. But I will not I will not leave this union, and I like to leave in a better place than I found it, and I won't leave until I'm sure that that's where it is. But I'm in no rush. So because I know a couple people that asked me about that. So anyway, so do we have? I got some more people that wanted to talk here and have some. Yeah. Get back to the chat. Okay, a couple more questions. Those are the same ones, right?
Yeah, they're saying that.
Oh, good. Let's read all. No, I'm kidding. I was receiving the 13 check prior, and so we'll continue. Yes, thank you for your help. And like, thank you to everyone, all the kind emails that I've received. I won't mention the unkind ones, but I got many more that appreciate it. Kevin Curry, my good friend Kevin Curry, one of my constituents as well, lives down the street from me. Well, all active members and who continues to work for the IBT. Will the active members and retirees who contribute their personal resources, money to investigate the pension fund be reimbursed? No, I told you that was a bad investment from the beginning. That is, the Department of Labor looked at everything upside down, and to those of you, I'll just leave. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but the answer is no. What are the future? What are the pension credit for future retirees? We still have to work on that. We have to look at where everything, how much money we're eventually going to get, how we can invest that money, and what increased contributions we get from the employers, and how we're going to put that to work. So there's still a lot going on, that a lot of work needs to be done. Is a 13 check that was canceled including restitution a lump sum amount? Yes. It's not bad for an old driver. Yes, I become a old driver. Who's that? Charlie Staincott? Yes. I still have my CDL though, Charlie, in case I have to make an honest living one day again. Kevin, you've done a great job. Thanks. So there's a link to recorded Zoom so I can play it for my father. Yes, I will. I'll this recorded Zoom. I'll put this link on one of the emails. So sign up for those email updates, and I'll put the link on there. Thank you. That's a great idea. Laura, just remind me to do that.
Okay.
Is the death benefit being restored? No, it is not. It was eliminated about 12 or 13 years ago. So, all right. I don't see, does anybody else have any other questions? As always, I'm going to be sending out another email. I see somebody's got a hand raised. Who is that? I got a lot of hands raised. I just don't think, I'm just asking everybody to go through the chat because it's easy. It gets kind of crazy. I think you covered all. Good. Okay. But put in that chat, because it just gets unwieldy to mute and unmute everybody, because with 370, we had over 475 people on this originally, so people are dropping off. But I will put this recording on here, and I'll be sending out an email. And as always, I just have to catch up on the last set of emails because I got a bunch of them. I will respond directly to any specific questions you may have. But look for these two correspondence we're going to be sending out to you, which is the first is it's going to speak about your benefits, and the second is that IRA rollover. So if you don't have one and you want to put it in a direct rollover, get that started right away. You can do it today online. All right, and speak to your tax professional if you have any issues about what you want to do. With that, I think we're going to end the meeting, and I just want to thank everybody for once again for everyone for did such hard work to get us here today. I like to say I never had a doubt that we'd be here, but I never thought in my wildest imagination that we would be talking about a complete restoration benefits with retroactive benefit payments to happen. We still have more work to do, including helping out the YRC people who, through no fault of their own, had their pension contributions reduced. We need to fix that, and I am still committed to working on that. That's some of my unfinished business I need to do, and so I'm committed to doing that, as I was committed to getting this pension restored, and I'm going to continue that work, and hopefully with your support, we're going to get that done. So thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right, thank you everyone. Feel free to email me. Okay. Bye.
And so maybe they keep on, was the 13th check going to be restored?
Yes, the 13th check is going to be restored. Yes,
Can you please, yeah, like, so you have to say it one more
yes,
time.
okay. Thank you again, everybody.